Hello, everybody, wherever you may be. My name's Larry. My call sign is Kilo 7 Hotel November. I'd like to welcome you back to my shack here in the Pacific Northwest. This is Ham Radio Live Show 71. Wasn't that a fun show yesterday? I loved meeting Ray Novak from ICOM. What a great guy. By the way, he sent me some links, cool links. In fact, I put some of them on yesterday's show. Look at the description area for yesterday's show with Ray Novak from ICOM. Neat stuff on a couple of de-expeditions he did. Plus, he sent me a link that ICOM gives for free for future hams or new hams. Great list here. Real nice chart for the band plan here in band plans in the USA. That's pretty neat. You can get that online with ICOM. Plus, one thing I think that's really cool is they have a ITU Common Amateur Radio Country prefix. If you've ever wondered when you hear like a call, you're not sure where it comes from, great little bit of paper there, little information on the air to help you know what country it is. Welcome to the show. Wow. For a second, I wasn't sure we're going to get on because everything was going wrong. Have you ever had one of those days? Like everything falls on the floor, the Wi-Fi goes out, you guys going, what is going on today, my friends? Today's Friday. That is November 6, 2020. CQ calling today at 0130 UTC. Now that would be at 5:30 Pacific time in North America. We'll be calling CQ on 40 meters to any station anywhere. Should be fun. Plus, big news in the channel. We will have next Thursday at 1 p.m. Eric Schwartz. Eric is one of the founders of Elecraft. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your ham radio buddies. Eric Schwartz is coming live onto the show. That will be on Thursday, which is just next week now. Man, talking the month is going to be almost over halfway by then. Eric, thank you for changing the date on that. Initially, we had it for the 19th, but Eric's going to be with us instead on the 12th at 1 p.m. So November 12th at 1 p.m. Pacific time, Eric Schwartz live on the show. So anything Elecraft you want to talk about, he's one of the founders. He'll be happy to share with you. Welcome, Bergs. Bergs all the way. Now, Sweden, right? I think it's Sweden. Welcome to the show. Going to show you, we're going to go over the ham radio extra exam. Fridays are extra test days, so we'll go over some extra tests. And I know this can be tough if you don't have your license, but the information you learn here will be helpful no matter what license examination you take. Before we do that, though, I'm going to show you what you can do with that unrecyclable styrofoam cup. This is a neat little trick. Now, I did this before with radios, and I thought, why haven't I ever shown that? Because it does work. Let me let you hear the radio. This is now not off the Heil system, so it's not going directly on YouTube. This is going to be through the microphone onto the rig, okay? So I'm going to switch the camera so you can see the rig, and I'll show you what I do with it, okay? Now, the problem with most ham radios is most ham radios have up-firing or rear-firing speakers. What that means is the sound goes straight up or straight back. Now, there's a way to improve that sound tremendously. It really is. And it's cheap, it's easy, and you've got it in your home already. Watch this. Now, the impact of this won't be as big here as it is in your shack, I guarantee. Okay? All you do is you take that little half styrofoam cup that you cut out, you put it right over the speaker. Now, you've got a front-firing speaker. Isn't that cool? So, take it away, right? You put it back, right? Away. Back. That's why amphitheaters, when you see concerts and stuff, when you go to a concert, that's why they're made like a shell, because the sound comes out and amplifies. And that's also why the old record, the old records that like Edison made, they had the big trumpet. It amplified the sound. Hello to my friend in Canada. Welcome. Good to see you, my friend. Victor Alpha 3 Foxtrot Union Charlie, I think. Yes, and I would love to come on your show. That would be That'd be an honor. Love to do that. Okay, so let's do that. Let's make that happen. Today, extra exam questions. Then we'll go on the rig. We'll see what we can do. Then tonight at 5:30 Pacific, which is technically 0130 Saturday, CQ calling begins on 40 meters tonight. It is brought to you by MFJ. MFJ has everything for your shack, from antenna tuners to amplifiers and everything in between. MFJ can get you on the air in style. All right, first of all, on the extra, first question. What toxic material may be present in some electronic components, such as high voltage capacitors and transformers? Now, I'm going to mangle this because I even tried to use the internet to help me say it. Okay. It's polychlorinated biphenyls. Biphenyls. That's it. Biphenyl. Sorry, biphenyls. Polychlorinated biphenyls is something that, say you have a capacitor that's leaking, right? Good. Let's do it. Love to be on the show. That would be an honor. I'd love that. If you have a capacitor, and sometimes what happens is over time they leak, right? You just don't want to touch it because there's a toxic material on there that could cause you some serious damage. So try and stay away from any capacitor for that reason. It's there for your safety. So that's why on the extra exam that question exists. Next question. With your transceiver displaying a carrier frequency of phone signals, so you're up on the phone frequency, for new hams, this means where you use your microphone, okay? So using your microphone, you hear a signal, a station, calling CQ at 14.349 megahertz USB. Is it legal to return this call using upper sideband on the same frequency? This is a neat question. I love questions like this because it really helps you to understand the bands. It does. And I think when we understand why this answer is the way it is, it will hopefully help you understand why the answer is no. Okay? So let me first explain. Remember, when we move to upper sideband, we're going 3 kilohertz up. I just heard your email. That's funny. Hello, IQ. Welcome to the show. It's good to see you. Thanks for being here, my friend. Always a pleasure, and I do mean that. Thank you for being here. Hope you enjoyed the show yesterday with Ray Novak. That was a lot of fun. He was such a neat guy. Gosh, I love Ray. Ray is one of those guys, easy to consider a friend, just a nice guy. So anyway, the answers given here are A, yes, because you were not the station calling CQ. B, yes, because the displayed frequency is within the 20 meter band. Well, it is. It's true. C, no, the sideband will extend beyond the band edge. Or D, no, U.S. stations are not permitted to use phone emissions above 14,340 megahertz. Let's take a look, okay? Let's take a look. Here's the band plan for the U.S., okay? It's going to come out kind of not so clear. Sorry. This is basically what it looks like. All right. When we look at 20 meters, and I'm sorry about the resolution here, all right? 20 meters ends at 14,350. So when we look at this question, they're at 14,349. However, you're using what's called upper sideband. That means your signal is going to go 3 kilohertz forward. Once it goes forward from 14,349, it's going to be outside the 20 meter band. That's the reason why. So the answer to that question is no for that reason. You cannot respond. It doesn't matter if the person's in Brazil or way down in the Falkland Islands and you really would love to make that QSO. You can't do it because it's outside the 20 meter band plan. Okay? All right. Next question. Again, this is Friday. We do extra questions on Friday. And I know we do a lot of stuff for new hams here. This might be overwhelming. I don't mean it to be, but I do want to try and help folks that would like to upgrade maybe from general. And if you learn the questions too, it'll help you pass your technician and your general exam. So, next question. Which UHF amateur service bands have frequencies available for a space station? Okay. The the ISS, the International Space Station, when it orbits during certain times of day, will make calls on ham radio bands. The bands that they work on are only on 70 centimeters and 13 centimeters. Those are the only two that you can contact them with. So, like if you have that ICOM 7100 or a Yaesu 991 Alpha, something like that, shack in the box, right? You can make calls to the International Space Station. Just watch their orbit, make sure they're coming close to you, and hey, you might have a 2 or 3 minute QSO with an astronaut. How cool would that be, right? All right, next question is the same one. Sorry about that. It popped up originally. Every question I had on this, no joke, it popped up 3 times. So I'm like deleting every one of them. All right. Which of the following geographic descriptions approximately describe line A? Line A. Now, this is for North American folks, okay? And I know that this is going to be weird. I get it because you're wondering, what the heck do I care? Okay. But the point is, by learning what this means, especially for US folks, it's really important to understand why. All right. Answers given are a line roughly parallel to and south of the US Canadian border. B, a line roughly parallel to and west of the U.S. Atlantic coastline. B, a line roughly parallel to and north of the U.S. Mexican border and Gulf coastline. Or D, a line roughly parallel to and east of the U.S. Pacific coastline. Line A is an area that is south of the Canadian border, but north of, so it's Canadian border is north, and then line B is south part of Canada, north of the U.S. border. The answer is a line roughly parallel to and south of the U.S. Canadian border. So line A just basically goes southward from the U.S. Canadian border. I'll show you a picture of it on a map. Hopefully this will be better res. A little bit better. All right, there you go. Okay, so there's line A, and there's line B. You see line D and line C. It all has to do with band plan and working together to make sure that we communicate on the air in a way that's organized. It's all about. So line A, south of the U.S. Canadian border. Okay, pretty easy. So that one's pretty easy to remember, I hope, for y'all. All right. Next one, hopefully we got here because like I said, I had like 60 dupes. I don't think this is one of them. Good. Okay. What is the purpose of digital store and forward functions on an amateur radio satellite? To upload operational software for the transponder. B, to delay download of telemetry between satellites. C, to store digital messages in the satellite for later download by other stations. Or D, to relay messages between satellites. The answer in this one is C. When the satellite goes over, you can send messages to it for later transmission for another station on the other side of the earth. That's one of the ways that we use ham radio satellites. It's pretty cool. By the way, first ham radio satellite ever was back in 1960, back in August. First voice you heard on a ham radio satellite was President Eisenhower. Wow, back in August of 1960. All right, next question. Which type of control is used by stations using the automatic link enable protocol? This one's pretty easy. All right. A, local. So local control, meaning you're there personally. B, remote control. So you're not there present. You don't have to worry about it. C, automatic. It's run by a computer, does everything all by itself, right? Everything's all software defined. D, ALE can use any type of control. The answer is C, automatic. If you see this question on your extra test, remember automatic. Best way to remember what type of control is used by stations using automatic link enable protocol. They use automatic control. That's it. So remember automatic. You're good. Okay. Next question. Atmospheric ducts capable of propagating microwave signals now are way up, way up. UHF band way up there high. These are typically line of sights. However, occasionally they can go a long distance. So atmospheric ducts capable of propagating microwave signals, so again, way up high in frequency, often form over what geographic feature? The answer is C, bodies of water. Okay? Mountain ranges, forests, urban areas, those all have something in common if you think about it. They all have elevation. We're talking about line of sight communication. The reason why atmospheric ducts work so well for microwave signals is there's nothing vertically that impedes it. So bodies of water is where atmospheric ducts help with microwave communication, beyond line of sight. So that's pretty cool. Next question. This is on the U.S. extra exam. Fridays are extra days. It's the same one. Doggone it. Another duplicate. My apologies. Okay, next. It did it again. Oh no. And it's weird because they have all different numbers. It shouldn't be the same question. Look, it's like there's a fourth one. You gotta be kidding me. Let's just play a game. How many times did it copy? There we go. Sorry. Wow. Okay. What might a sudden rise in radio background noise indicate? A meteor ping. B, a solar flare has occurred. C, increased transequatorial propagation likely. D, long path propagation is occurring. Okay, now remember, the problem is really here. There's a problem. Sudden rise in radio background noise. That means your noise floor is going up. Okay, that's not a good thing. So D, long path propagation is occurring. It won't occur because your noise floor is too high. C, increased transequatorial propagation is definitely not likely. Got too much noise. And a meteor ping, sorry, no, not going to happen. All right, it is B, a solar flare has occurred. And keep in mind, solar flares happen and they can impact HF transmission sometimes for days. They really can. It depends on how heavy, how, impactful, I guess the right word, how strong the solar flare is, and how much radiation it sends to the Earth's atmosphere that affects the ionosphere. Because remember, our signals bounce off the ionosphere. Something irregular from the sun disturbs that. So it causes problems sometimes when we're using HF signals. Yeah, solar flares can be a problem. It will definitely raise your noise floor. Okay. Next question. Kind of the same thing. What is a major cause of atmospheric static? A, solar radio frequency emissions. Sorry. B, thunderstorms. C, geomagnetic storms. Or D, meteor showers. We've shown this on the show before on the rig cam. Thunderstorms. Yeah. When you have thunderstorms on a radio, especially with a pen adapter screen, you'll see a line, big bright line goes down the screen, right? Because the waterfall is the actual signal at the top, and then trailing down is time. That's the time domain. So you'll see that big white line hit, and the time domain it goes down before, finally disappears. Thunderstorms have a way of just bang, knocking out stuff. You don't know where they're at, but you know that they affected your receiver. So thunderstorms is the answer there every time. All right, next question. What is the phase angle between the voltage across and the current through a series RLC circuit? If XC is 100 ohms, R is 100 ohms, and XL is 75 ohms. All right, don't turn off your computer. Don't do it. Don't do it. Hey, welcome to the show. Gunther in Germany. Good to see you, buddy. The answers given: A, 14 degrees with a voltage lagging the current. B, 14 degrees with a voltage leading the current. C, 76 degrees with a voltage leading the current. Or D, 76 degrees with a voltage lagging the current. In this case, the answer is A. It is 14 degrees with the voltage lagging the current. We're talking about phase angle. Okay? phase angle, and the voltage is lagging the current in this example. Okay, so remember this. If you see this question, the answer is going to be 14 degrees, voltage lagging or behind the current. Okay, next question. Happy Friday, everybody. And there's another duplicate. It's Duplicate Friday. I should have like, okay, let's do this. It's Duplicate Friday. You have to make lemonade sometimes when lemons happen. You know, it's like, I can't help it. These things just keep on coming up. All right, next question. Sorry, my friends. What type of amplifier circuit is shown in figure E7-1? Is it a common base amplifier? Is it a common collector amplifier circuit? Is it a common emitter amplifier circuit? Or is it an emitter follower amplifier circuit? Okay, this is an interesting question. Let me try and give you a little bit of help here on this, okay? The common emitter transmitter amplifier is one of the mainstay circuits for use within electronic circuit design, right? There's a lot of advantages to it, okay? The common emitter circuit configuration provides voltage gain combined with a moderate current gain, as well as a medium input and medium output description, okay? It's very stable. It's very usable. So that's cool. Oh, look at that. I bunches like the Heil shirt. That's pretty cool. Thanks, buddy. All right. Next question on the extra exam. Only a few more, okay? Only a few more. I don't want to get you too far here. Hey, Robbie, look at this. We've got Echo India 2, India Papa in the house. That deserves some applause. Welcome to the show, Robbie. Don't forget DX calling tonight at 0130 UTC on 40 meters. And also, we'll have a great guest coming up from Elecraft. Looking forward to meeting Eric Schwartz, one of the founders. That's next Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific. All right. Next question. What is a frequency discriminator stage in an FM receiver? Okay. Remember we talked about the FM, I forget now, my mind just went totally blank. PLL, okay? So a lot of FMs back in the 80s talked about the PLL phase lock loop circuits, right? Okay, that's part of what this is. A, an FM generator circuit. B, a circuit for filtering two closely adjacent signals. C, an automatic band switching circuit. Or D, a circuit for detecting FM signals. The frequency discriminator stage in a PLL or phase lock loop circuit for FM is a circuit that detects FM signals. That's your answer, okay? That's it. All right, next question. Only a few more. Don't want to get you lost before we move. What is an OCFD antenna? For new hams or future hams, this is really confusing. These are just basically acronyms. That's all they are. Okay, OCFD means off center fed dipole antenna. Okay, that's what it means. So the answer is given. A dipole feed approximately 1/3 of the way from one end with a 4-to-1 balun to provide multi-band operation. B, a remotely tunable dipole antenna using orthogonically controlled frequency diversity. They could have added a few more $20 words there. What do you think? C, an 8-band dipole using octophase filters. Sounds pretty technical. D, a multi-band dipole antenna using one-way circular polarization for frequency diversity. The answer is A. Off-center fed dipole really is a long wire where you connect on about 1/3 of the wire, and then you have a longer section and a shorter section, okay? You also have a center-fed dipole, which is one that's straight in the center, and both the radiators, that's basically what you transmit with, go off of the center. You also have end-fed dipoles, where you basically have your connection, and everything goes out from there, okay? Don't be confused or worried when you see things like OCFD or CFD or whatever. It's not hard. It's really not hard. Question real quick. How's the AV680 working out? Love it. It's a great antenna. Had it up for a year. Um, it's been through some pretty big windstorms, to be honest. And MFJ, it's not MFJ, that's High Gain. High Gain says, you don't need to guide it. I still guide mine. And I think, honestly, it'd be fine without the guy wires. It probably would be. It's a really stable antenna. It's been fantastic for me. I love this thing. It's a great one. Great one. All right. We've got two more questions. Here we go. All right. This on the extra exam. Which of the following determines the velocity factor of a transmission line? Why is this important? Well, because we need to know how fast the signal is going to travel through from our transmitter through that feed line. The feed line connects the radio transmitter and the antenna. We need to know how fast it's going to go. So we want to use quality feed line. That's very important. Okay. The answer is given. A, the termination impedance. That determines the velocity factor. No. B, the line length. No. C, dielectric materials used in the line. Yes. D, the center conductor resistivity. Another $20 word. Yeah, basically. All right, let me show you real quick. When you're talking about velocity factors in feed line and dielectric materials used in the line, yes, I'm definitely keeping it. It's too hard to take down vertical antennas, with multiple rods, multiple antennas and then sell them. I just don't like that. I'm definitely keeping that one. That's for sure. Thanks for asking, Robbie. That's a good question. All right. Here's a really good example of a piece of coax. This is basically LMR 400. Now, you see the center conductor right there, and then you see the white area that goes between the center conductor and the ground, okay, which is where the braid is. That white is the dielectric. That's the piece that shields the center conductor from the ground. Remember, coax is unbalanced feed line. Maybe you didn't know that. Coax is unbalanced. Window line or ladder line is balanced. Each line is a balanced line from the antenna. Coax is unbalanced. So when you have quality feed line like this, you have a big dielectric, so there's a lot of space between that and the ground or the shield of the coax. The key here, keep it dry. Don't let moisture get into the ends of it or crack the side of it. Try to make sure not to bend it too much because you can actually snap it. You can break it. So be really careful if you're using real thick feed line like LMR 400. Okay, last question before things fall down because it's been that kind of a day. Okay. How can the output voltage of a multiple turn receiving loop antenna be increased? This is a great question. Love loop antennas. A, by reducing the permeability of the loop's shield. B, by increasing the number of wire turns in the loop and reducing the area of the loop structure. That actually has the opposite effect, by the way. That actually will decrease the output voltage. C, by winding adjacent turns in opposing directions. Or D, by increasing either the number of wire turns in the loop or the area of the loop structure, or both. So the more you have out there, the better it's going to receive. The more turns of wire, the same thing. Literally, all this is just adding more material to pick up signals, and if it's a transmit loop, to also transmit. By the way, not sure if we have anybody here that in fact, Jim, I don't know if Jim's here, Jim McCusker. Hi there, Jody. New one. That's a new one to the channel. So glad to have you. I'll get a studio audience here. Thanks for being here. What a joy it is to meet you. Hold on, I'm gonna put the radio back on so you can actually hear it when it goes on. All right, Jody, thank you. She has the same antenna there in Florida. It is. It's a great antenna. It's only 27 feet long. Honestly, Robbie, only 27 feet. It just works, man. I mean, I've had such good luck with my high gain AV680. I think it's a very good buy. I think it's fairly simple to install, depends on where you want to put it. Again, with any vertical or dipole, the higher it goes, the better. That's just the way it works. Although it is designed, you can put it literally on the ground about 3 feet up and it'll work great. But I just wanted to get a little more elevation with any vertical. Verticals make a big difference with your elevation. Okay, so we're going to talk just a skosh here to remind you before we go to the rig. Eric Schwartz from Elecraft will be live with us this coming Thursday. That is at 1 p.m. Pacific, okay? 1 p.m. Pacific translates into 2100 Zulu on Thursday. Eric Schwartz is one of the founders of Elecraft. He is going to be answering your questions. Yeah, about the new K4, about all things Elecraft. So please come and join us. That's going to be at 21 Zulu. Yeah, 21 Zulu on next Thursday, okay? So Eric will be here. Tonight, we're going to be doing a great show called CQ Calling. It's brought to you by MFJ Antennas and Antenna Tuners and Amplifiers and all that stuff. It's a great company, and they're going to be helping us out with that because we're using their antennas. Pretty cool stuff. Yeah. So, had the AV640 but want 80 meters. Yeah, the 680 will do it. At the very top, you just have an area where you clip it. It's got little horizontal, not rods, but horizontal spacers. Basically, it's a capacitor. And you just clip to the area on that capacitor you want to work. It'll be tuned for 80. Pretty simple. So no hex beam. Yes. My goodness, yes. Hex beam is coming. Heck yeah. Let me see here. I think it's this picture, I think. I'll make sure I give you the right picture because otherwise I'm going to feel doofy. I don't want to do that. So the hex beam that's out of the box, and we're getting ready to assemble. In fact, we're going to show you piece by piece how it comes together. This is the brand new MFJ 1848 hex beam antenna. Yep, it is a directional 6 to 40 meter antenna. Folks, you can get yourself a directional for under $1,500 with a quality rotator. Put it on your roof, 35, 40 feet. You're just working anywhere you want. It is a directional antenna that's a fraction of the cost of what you think. All of those bags that you see on the right side are all the directors and reflectors for each meter band. And then, of course, you see the connection bags where the clamps are and everything, and the connector, and, the base and everything. So that's it. Yeah, you're welcome, Robbie. My recommendation, honestly, is I love that antenna. It's a great antenna. I think the hex beam is going to be amazing, however. I really do. I mean, directionals, gosh, they're great. Let's go to the rig. Let's see what we got today on the bands. Again, we're going to go quick. We're going to go quick on this today because we do have CQ coming here in about 2.5 hours. So we'll be maybe real quick. No, Robbie, actually, no, it's an 8-band. Yep, 8-band. Yep, 8-band hex. So it does 6, 10, 12, 15, 17, 20, 30, and 40. Yep. Nope, not today. Okay, so we'll be on 20. Let's catch someone on 20. Maybe we'll say hello to them real quick, and we'll close the show. Then nothing but QSOs tonight on CQ Calling, brought to you by MFJ. And the neighbor's pump is on. How handy. I took down the phase antenna because it bothered my neighbor, but he's working on a solution. And tonight we'll be able to do the show, so hang in there. By the way, that MFJ 1026, it's an amazing noise canceller, just amazing. The RFI you see here is caused from my neighbor's waterfall next door. It's a pump. It's just a little pump that unfortunately spews a tremendous amount of RFI out there. So I'll have to get in between the interference nodes, but once he turns it off, we're good. Should get him to the same thing happened last week. We did a show, and then the next show was CQ Calling, and it was just bang, 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 bang. It's good. It's fun. Man. Oh, it's a contester. Okay, never mind. We're already doing contesting. By the way, today we will work on that. Okay, for contest, we're going to try and find a spot. We'll do our best. We'll be above 7175 on the 40-meter band. So 7.175 megahertz. We'll do our very best to be there. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Euros. So euros, dollars. Gosh, there's just so many different denominations today, but we'll see. Let's go down to 80, right? I'm going to have a ton of RFI on 80. I know that. But 75, 80, there's less contesters. Always is. So we'll tune this. I use the MFJ 998 auto tuner, which is really a great tuner, and going to be going up to the ALS 1306 for the amplifier, which should be fun. So we'll have the hex beam in the amp, and we'll be able to do a lot better shows, I think. Okay, just checking 80 real quick. But fighting through this. See, look at that. Particularly the S meter. Let me see if I can get this up. This is the middle of one of the RFI nodes from the pump. I deal with that kind of noise. Now, I do have the MFJ 1028, sorry, the 1026 noise canceller, which works fantastic. It is an amazing bit of kit. It really is. Works great. Love it. And it's very effective to knock out the noise. But we're going to do our best to not put that back up because it bothered my neighbor. Because it literally was right against that fence, and he was just not happy. And of course, I don't want to make my neighbors unhappy, but at the same time, I have the right to use my radio too, right? That's the way it works. And we're all under the same rules here in the United States. If you have an item that causes RFI or disturbance to anybody, you must take it down. That's the way it works. But he's working with me. That's great. So we may not. Yeah, with all these conditions the way they are, with all the RFI, probably not going to work out right now. I'll make sure, though, we can do CQ calling at that 0130 UTC. That'll be on 7.175 or higher. Love to see you. Love to have you come be a part of the show. That would be fun. Let's get to your questions here. Anders is here. Hi, Anders. Good to see you. Good question. What vertical antenna is best? Diamond BB7? You don't need the cables in the ground. It's a personal preference thing. You know, I think it is. I mean, it depends on what you want. I like the high gain AV680 mainly because I don't have to put a whole bunch of ground radials in the ground. They just slope down. It's just simple. I like that about it, Anders. It's a great antenna, and it's worked the world for me. So the AV680's been good, but you might find something better. So that might work out for you. Talk to your antenna dealer or your ham radio store. Let them know what your needs are. Most people are pretty good with helping you on that, okay? Okay. Let's see. Yeah, and that's true. Depends on what bands you want to work. You know, the AV680 works on 80. It works on 75. With a tuner, I have mine preset to work right about the middle of 80. So I'm right about 36, 25, right in there. So I'm right about the middle of the phone band of 80. However, you can set it the way you want. It's got a little alligator clip, and you clip it wherever you want to on that 80-meter portion. You just adjust it, okay? So let me look here. Dix Commander all band vertical. That's a great vertical. That, you know what? I love Callum. I do. I love Callum. He's a good guy. He makes great products. And Callum's one of them guys that has spent so much time and his life into developing products like antennas. I recommend any of his stuff because I know he tests it and I know he makes sure it's good. So yeah, the all band vertical. Let's get this back up from Tom. This is absolutely true. This is a very good vertical antenna. And he also sells a couple of other products that are great if you want to make a phased vertical. Now you're really cooking because you've got a directional. You put a switch on it, you can make it either direction. So you want to work northeast, you work northeast, hit the switch, the relay now makes it work southwest. It's really a cool product. And I mean, strong beam front to back. It's pretty cool. Yeah, Callum does rock. I like Callum. Who doesn't like guy with a mohawk, right? He's awesome. All right, guys. We'll see you at, 2.5 hours from now for CQ Calling. Thanks for coming to the channel. By the way, I know that we didn't see Jim here today from Pennsylvania. Jim, if you're watching this or you see it on replay, I did get a hold of the folks at 71a in Italy. We have talked about their stealth loop. I think it's a winner. I think it's a fantastic product. And I believe we've got something worked out that we can get one. So look for the review on the 71a. It's a family-owned company. They work really hard to make their antennas. They are pricey. That's the truth. But it looks like the quality's there and what they can do is pretty cool. So 71a Stealth Loop, we'll work on that. That'll be a 2021 review, okay? We'll see you in about 2.5 hours. Until then, God bless you. Thanks for watching Ham Radio Live. It is always my honor and privilege to see you guys. See you in 2.5 hours for CQ Calling, brought to you by MFJ. Till then, goodbye, everybody.